Wait. Hello everyone, welcome to Extras video number 2. Uh, Sonic Underground Reviews. This Extras video is of the Songs of the Underground extra feature. Coming up with good words. Songs for the Underground. Really like this one.
Music, of course, was a huge part of Sonic Underground. It was
Obviously.
really a music-driven series. And so there was a lot more attention paid to music on that series. We start off with the main title song, which I mentioned that I wrote, and that was the first piece of music that we had. And then the underscore, which is the sort of the instrumental cues throughout the story that you hear when the music in the background, sort of background music, I guess would be the way to call it. A lot of those were derived from the melodies that I had written in the main title song. That's sort of a typical paradigm in an animated series, is you take a main title song, which you hope will be sort of an oral hook, that's A-U-R-A-L, hook, that viewers will sort of grab on and they'll hear and they'll listen and they'll sort of, you want a catchy melody and you hope the melody is catchy, and then you take that melody and you reinforce it constantly throughout the
It was
background
catchy.
in a very subtle way. So it's almost subliminal.
That's all.
I think in many ways, whereas viewers don't even realize they're hearing that melody in a minor key or in 3/4 time or whatever. Variations on theme, if you will. Then of course there were
Loud again.
Let's do it too.
When we made a decision, we thought one of the fun things to do would be to basically encompass a super wide variety of genres of music, like every style we could think of that we thought would be fun for kids. From doo-wop to Beach Boys to heavy metal to whatever we could think of as a style. Our thought was, let's try and incorporate this.
You have to learn to take a chance. You never know what you might be missing in life. Could be something you really you must learn to take a chance.
We worked with a composer named Mike Piccirillo, aka Pick. We don't need
Yeah, by the way, very little commentary during these extra videos, just so you can actually see the videos on the disc.
it. And he was fantastic in that way because we would give him the scripts, we would make sure the writers specified what the genre was, and sometimes I'd pick up the phone as well and just
At the point I was working, there were no storyboards yet. We were way ahead of that, so that they could storyboard around my songs. So we were working from scripts. The writers usually said in the script, at least, not always, but at least maybe a third of the time they would say the song should say something about blah blah, whatever the lesson was, whatever the moral was.
We need to be free like a nomad roaming mystic lands. Oh, freedom is a golden bird that lets us fly. And if someone tries to take that away, we will stand and fight.
one of the things about songs for other media, like songs in movies, songs in Broadway plays, I think the best of them are universal and aren't, while the lyrical content will further the story, they're not specific to the story. In other words, you don't mention names of the characters, you don't mention locations, you don't mention things that are so specific that that song only applies to those people, those characters. I mean, obviously there's exceptions, but I think the general rule when you're writing those kinds of songs is to try to make the songs as universal as you can and try to make the lyrics generic enough so if you were to hear them out of context, it would just sound like a great song that has something to say about a human emotion. And yet, when you put it in the context of the show, it fits into that story. And so I think that was one of the things Pick always tried to do with his lyrics in the song.
I'm so glad from my home. I've been walking through this world alone, wondering where I fit in, where do I belong? Now a miracle's happened to me. I found my home.
Typically on Sonic Underground, I would read the script. Let's say that takes hour, an hour. Would get an idea for a song. First thing you do is try to decide on the tempo. Then you want to test your tempo actually and make sure it actually is going to work exactly down to about a minute or a minute. I think we had about 15 seconds. Once I have my tempo, I actually record a click, and then I pick whatever I feel is the predominant instrument. Usually it would be a keyboard or a guitar. That's kind of like thinking along the lines of which guy in the band actually knows this song all the way through. And if it's a guitar-driven song, I would probably play it on guitar, and I would play it against that click. And I would play it from the front to the end just as if I was performing it. Once I had a performance down that I liked, then I would do the drums next, and then I would add the bass and the other instruments, whatever it took. All of that might take 3 hours.
That's a long
Then I
time.
would start working on my lyrics, and that might take a couple hours. And I'm singing and writing as I'm going to save time. So every night I would sit in there at 9 o'clock, start reading, and by the time 5 a.m. rolled around, there was another song in existence. Whereas most pop songs start with verse, chorus, like that. I kind of developed my own technique where, since I only have a minute to work with, I want to try to get as much of the chorus in as possible. So I start with the chorus always. I start with the chorus, do one verse, and then wrap up with as much chorus as I can still get, depending on the tempo of the song. Sometimes it's only a half chorus, half chorus. But that's probably the biggest difference, is that they're very straight to the point. There's not a lot of time to build, and here, 1 minute later, here comes what I'm really trying to say. It is gratifying when somebody writes to you and says, hey, that song, meant a lot to me. I remember it when, they'll say, like, I remember that song when I was 11 years old and I watched that show every day, or I remember that song when I was 16 years old and I was having a bad time, and, so it's like any performer, you want to get that feedback, and I don't go seeking it, but when it comes, it's nice. Gratifying.
Nothing's quite as beautiful as the laughter of a child, or the wonder inside every little smile.
I just love music. That's a real passion of mine, and particularly genre music and the idea of doing all these different styles. I love doing that, and I'm not just into the sort of style of the day. I'm sort of familiar and enamored of many styles of music, and so it was fun for me to take a very active role with Dick in that.
Deke gave me tremendous amount of freedom. They did not control the project in any kind of iron-fisted way. They gave me a lot of freedom to go musically wherever I wanted, and they encouraged it. As a matter of fact, I hope you can hear how much fun and how much joy is in the drums and in the guitars, and try to make it like a real rock band, rocking out.
Oh, there you go. Excuse me. Anyway, see you guys and gals for next extras video. Storyboard to screen. Opening titles. Bye.